That's right, folks. From the Infowars.com studios, it's yours truly, Alex Jones, coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas, Austin. And by the way, we're going to have South by Southwest coverage, one of the biggest interactive festivals in the world, for the next 2 weeks as it kicks off here very, very soon, next week. We're going to have continued coverage and our reporters down there with a lot of breaking news on technology. Edward Snowden's going to be appearing via video connection from Moscow and a lot more in the next 2 weeks. And I will be staying here. I have politely canceled my trip to England and the Oxford speech just because too much is going on with the situation in Ukraine and so much more. We're going to get into leaked phone call, Kiev snipers hired by U.S.-backed opposition, and play the Estonian foreign minister in talks with the U.S.-backed opposition leader. So all of that is going to be coming up, a pretty big story up on Infowars.com. Some of the other news, video. Bloomberg wants to ban free speech on Facebook. They're actually working to not let any pro-gun stuff be there or to let gun shops even be on there. Just, it's over. Doesn't matter if it's constitutional protected right. They're going to shut down our First Amendment, not just our Second. Order out of chaos, Gladio snipers behind killings in Kiev. That's Nemo's article that goes along with Watson's. Leaked phone call, Kiev snipers hired by U.S.-backed opposition. And the big red link story I haven't gotten to yet. Showdown, Maryland to target 110,000 citizens with gun confiscation. That's right, and it ties into the story, of course, from a couple days ago, where they are sending out letters saying, oh, you didn't get your gun registered in time, come turn it in. We don't care if you fill out the registration paperwork, come turn it in Connecticut. So, and they're basically passed laws where you can't manufacture guns in California with the micro stamping. I mean, it's on. The last lead smelter that could create bullets closed last year here in the United States. I mean, it is full tilt boogie, the death by 1,000 cuts against the Second Amendment that's going on. But we're winning the hearts and minds, every metric shows. So that's the good news of what's going on that front. That's some of what's up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Your take on the IRS situation. You can't take the fifth under penalty of perjury. They make you waive your fifth to fill out the tax form. You try to plead the fifth, doesn't work. This is a private collection agency for the Private Federal Reserve, established in 1913, didn't go mainline until 1951. But the pig-like creature up there heading up the persecution division, the Inquisition of Second Amendment folks, or the purge of the Second Amendment folks, and the Tea Party and the rest of it, she takes the fifth. What's your take on that subject? That's what I'm opening the phones up to take a round of calls on. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. We'll go to your calls here in just a few minutes. But first off, leaked phone call. Kiev snipers hired by U.S.-backed opposition. False flag killings used to delegitimize the government that was ousted. Details of leaked phone call between EU Foreign Affairs Chief Catherine Ashton and Estonian Foreign Minister Urmas Paet suggest that the U.S.-backed opposition was responsible for hiring snipers who gunned down protesters in Kiev and not the deposed government of Viktor. How do you pronounce that? Yanukovych? Am I pronouncing that right, guys? Yanukovych? I am pronouncing it right. As the media widely claimed. Continuing here. During the phone call, Paet tells Ashton that evidence presented to him by a doctor who treated victims of the sniper attacks clearly indicates both police and protesters were being shot at by the same people. Yes, to create the illusion. And this is what Operation Gladio would do. And Kurt Nemo's article gets into that, how NATO, and again, I'm not defending the Russians during the Cold War. It's that both sides did dirty stuff, okay? NATO did hundreds of bombings and shootings from Germany to Italy, from France to Ukraine, you name it, into non-NATO countries at the time, where if communists started getting too popular, they'd shoot people and blame it on them, or bomb people and blame it on them. If right-wing groups got too popular and they didn't like where they were going, they would shoot people and blame it on them. If mainline groups, I mean, they did this over and over again. This got declassified by the Italian government 14 years ago, and then even more about 3 years ago, and the U.S. government had to admit it. NATO was involved, the British were involved, the Germans were involved. They called them stay-behind networks. After World War II, a lot of the Nazi-held areas, the U.S. just took over the Nazi networks that were there, like Ukraine, Western Ukraine, and continued to use them to carry out terror attacks, but they were being directed by the West. So that's how this operates, and people need to be made aware of that. And I watched how this went, how the police tried to stand down so they wouldn't look bad to give them the political support. Then they start getting shot, and our media is calling them freedom fighters, and Precision, you know, throwing Molotov cocktails at police cars, burning them up, and very serious situation. And look, if the Ukrainians want to overthrow their government, that's their business, but the West is in there stirring it up, overthrowing an elected government, and now putting people in even worse so the EU can suck them dry. This is the type of stuff they'll do in America. They will commit mass shootings and blame it on the Tea Party. You can see all the writing on the wall. They will commit new Oklahoma cities and blame it on us. And I'm just saying, it's all they've got left. The problem is they know our people are everywhere and are going to run with video cameras to the next Oklahoma City, to the next mass shooting. They know, myself or my reporters, will march in to the press conferences with the evidence. And they're like, well, why don't they just kill you? Because they can't kill everybody, folks. They could blow up in their face. They want to stage the event, have it highly compartmentalized, and have 95% of the police and military that aren't aware of what's going on not know about what's happening. That's why they're so weak, because they're staging the terror attacks or provocateuring them and then hoping no one picks up on what they did and just buy the official story. I mean, we exposed the underwear bomber was CIA, drugged and put on the plane. That came out in Congress a month and a half after we broke it here with the eyewitnesses, 2 lawyers that saw it happen. Kurt Haskell and his wife both saw it out of Michigan. And what they said turned out to be true. And it just keeps happening. We have the intel. We have the human intelligence. We have the people. And we're watching. We're not stupid. And what really freaks them out is military and police listen, and they now know what's going on. And let me tell you, cops, too, you may take part in some federal drill. If they tell you it's secret, it may just be a drill 100 times. But the 101st time or the 120th time, they're going to have you in a real terror attack, and that backpack's going to be real, and they're going to blow you up at the shopping mall and say, oh, the right-wing libertarian cop, you know, John Johnson or whatever his name's going to be, or, you know, Harry Murphy or Bob Sanchez. Yeah, he had Ron Paul literature at his house. Oh, my God. He went in during a field trip at a mall, and I'm throwing up hypothetical names, and people's names really match that. You know, John Doe, whatever. I'm telling you how they work. Do not be part of it. Do not be part of it. That movie, Arlington Road, is so accurate how they actually do it. Isn't Jeff Bridges in that? And how they pick the professor who's a libertarian and upset about the government and then set him up to make it look like he blows up the federal building. I'm going to tell you, folks, that's exactly how they operate. Okay? That's exactly how these people operate. Better understand that. That movie's basically real. That is how they operate. And I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to be part of it. All right, let's go to your phone calls. Let's talk to Nicholas in Virginia. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Thanks for having me on, man. I've been listening to you for about 1.5 years now. One of my friends, Ryan Addison, turned me on to you, and I've really got a lot of great information from you, and just...
No, don't thank me, brother. We're all in it. We're all in it to win it. We're in it together.
Thank you, sir. So I'm calling about the Obamacare. I switched jobs in November of last year, and they took my health insurance away from me, or they were going to make me pay $1,000 a month to keep my health care. And so now they put us through the marketplace, and we got a new plan that we had to purchase separate health care and a separate dental. I went to the dental place about a month ago for some work, just fillings, nothing big. I was told there's no pre-existing condition waiting period. There was no.
So what happened? Because we're not really talking about Obamacare right now. We're talking about IRS, but it all ties together. What happened?
So essentially, they sent me a bill telling me that my insurance company was not going to pay my bill. So when I went to the dentist, my dentist told me there is no conditions, there's no waiting periods. And then when they checked the system about a week or two ago and sent me the bill again, they had gone back into the system and changed to where now there's pre-existing conditions and now there's 6-month waiting periods for no matter what.
No, that's what it does. It brings in waiting periods for pre-existing conditions when it promised to do the opposite. It is the greatest screw job of all time, and I appreciate your call, and I'm sorry that's happening. You should do a YouTube video about it. Everybody who's been hurt by this should speak out, write an article about it, do a YouTube, go to Craigslist, everywhere you can. Your voice is important, and just universally decry it. They have a poll out yesterday. 9 out of 10 Texans are against Obamacare and want it repealed. Why isn't it being repealed by the Republicans? Nationally, 8 out of 10 people across the board are against Obamacare. Why isn't it being repealed? Because the establishment wants it. They didn't pass something bold, a bold screw job like this, because they intended for it to get repealed. And if they get away with this, folks, the sky's the limit. And I said I was taking calls on the IRS, and I see loaded phones. Chris and Joe and Dr. D and Steve, you all want to talk about the IRS and the subject I brought up. I'm not mad at the last caller, but, man, come on. I said only on the IRS, and it's about something else. But I understand it's painful, and you want to talk about it. Believe me, I get it. Everybody I know, including myself, had their insurance go way up. And it's painful, and it's shutting down the economy. It's making most people go to part-time. It's designed to break this country's back. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com. And Lois Lerner says that citizens don't have a Fifth Amendment when being questioned by the Federal Reserve's collection agency, the offshore bank's collection agency, literally, but that she does. And then she always uses that to go on and plead the Fifth to say she's not testifying, but then to go on to say she's done nothing, even though she got caught lying a year ago. So, Chris in California, you're on the air. What's your take on this?
Hello?
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, no, it's California. Sorry. Hi, yeah, Alex. It's an absolute, it's a joke. She's out there. She's got her 8 armed guards. She's smirking. She knows exactly what she's doing. But the good thing for us, it shows the veil falling on the whole system. It's a sham. Everybody's starting to wake up. I'm watching all the boards, CNN, MSNBC, I don't care what site it is. People are calling them out. People are upset. People are waking up. I think we're almost hitting critical mass, Alex.
Well, it is true that, as Mark Twain said, in the beginning, a patriot is a scarce man, hated, feared, and scorned. But in time, when his cause succeeds, the timid join him, because then it costs nothing to be a patriot. And really, a lot of people weren't bad in the system. They were just scared. And as more people speak out, now they can't persecute everyone that speaks out. That's that Hollywood tipping point I've talked about. They're not really liberals in Hollywood, most of them. Most of them are actually kind of libertarians, or what you'd call a conspiracy theorist, meaning they don't buy the official account of things out of hand. So I agree with you. Go ahead.
Right. That's the point, Alex. You're doing a great job. Everybody needs to stand up and call it out. Don't be afraid. I was in a cooking class the other day with my girlfriend, and a woman was in there talking about how she was going to stop against, guns. And I spoke up. Everybody needs to speak out, because there's more of us than there are of them.
That's right. So you heard some anti-gunner in there, and you stood up to her.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let them fool you. And the 3%.
What did she do when you spoke out? Try to ban your free speech like Bloomberg's doing right now?
she got all indignant. Well, I'm over here. It's typical trendy liberalism. It's pathetic.
Well, these are people just begging to be slaves. I only want a massive government that murders people worldwide to have weapons, not us average slaves. I'm with the system. I have no instincts. I have no common sense. I'm a moron. But the TV says I'm good, and it's my imaginary friend. They're literally in love with a mind control device, just like the movie Her, and literally aren't even living in the reality. I appreciate your call, Chris. Dr. D in Arizona. Go ahead.
Hello, Alex. How you doing today?
Good, my friend. What's your take on our loving Lois Lerner?
Yes, sir. I was so outraged about that dog and pony show this morning. I've been trying to get in and share this idea with you, how we can end corruption, end all this old back and forth gridlock, and all this nonsense that goes on up in them houses that we pay for. The taxpayers needs a voice. That's the missing component of government. I would hope that you would get on this and we would try to start coalescing together and build a big coalition of people to demand that we have monitors in all the houses of government, that the citizens be allowed to submit their questions directly to their congressmen people, and that if they don't want to do this, then remove them, frog march them right off the floor with the sergeant arms, let them get some work in, and let's end this nonsense now. I mean, this corruption now by putting monitors in there. Remember what Jim DeMint said about government, I think before he left office, that most of the laws are passed at night by a skeleton crew of congressmen?
No, that's true. The IRS was passed by 3 senators. The Federal Reserve was passed. Most of this stuff is done by the insiders. You're right. Get rid of the committee chairman having all the power, and get rid of all the national security secrecy that they've used to make it secret. Remember Jakari Jackson went to Walmart and they had some robot literally diagnose him with diabetes and say he was obese or whatever? Even though he's in great shape. I mean, that's the type of stuff that's going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Walmart robo-doctor kiosk promotes Obamacare. Elysium-like machine tells Jakari Jackson he's obese and should sign up for Obamacare. And so we're going to show that report along with that with Stefan Molyneux. Coming up in the next segment, here's a big story we're going to be covering. CIA employees face new inquiry amid clash on detention program. Turns out the CIA was spying on the Senate. Well, of course they were. So that's all coming up. Right now, let's go back to your calls on the IRS taking the fifth, even though they tell you you can't on your tax filings. But hey, you know, 4 legs good, 2 legs better. Here on the Animal Farm. Joe in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just doing a little radio show, you know.
Awesome. Well, it's just another example of how it's one set of rules for them and a different set of rules for all the rest of us slaves.
Well, slaves is the operative word because it is an unconstitutional tax. It is in the Communist Manifesto to have an income tax. The average American didn't pay an income tax till 1951. I mean, this is an alien thing. I'll never forget Ron Paul was on CNN once, and what do we do if we get rid of the income tax? What'll build the government? What run? He goes, this capital was built before we had an income tax. The income tax doesn't run the country. It goes to interest on the debt to the Federal Reserve. But hey, don't let facts get in the way of it. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. Make a point.
Well, you know, here's the thing. If they're going to continue to ignore us and implement things that we don't want, like an example, Obamacare, you know, you fully implement that when we told you we don't want it, we're not going to pay taxes anymore. Their lifeblood of this whole system is money. If they don't have money, they can't function. They can't send troops in to attack if they don't have money to pay them. So cut them off.
Very well said. No, I agree. And withdraw consent from the system, speak out against it, take our moral authority away from them, point out that literally we're run by offshore banks, and it's over. The occupation will begin to fall. They want us poor. The globalists admit this. They set the economy up to make it artificially scarce because they don't want us being, quote, uppity. I appreciate your call. By the way, Paul Watson was on for a long time last night on the Savage Nation with Michael Savage breaking down the whole Ukraine situation. It's an excellent in-depth talk by two men, one in the UK, one in San Francisco, California, on what happened there. And it's a fascinating interview. I was listening to it this morning and was almost late to work. I wasn't really late to work, but I wanted to get here 2 hours early. I only got here an hour before showtime because I listened while I was getting ready this morning doing research to the whole interview, and it's up on Infowars.com. Paul Joseph Watson and Michael Savage really discussing hardcore issues, breaking the left-right paradigm, drilling into the geopolitical machinations of the New World Order.
You are watching the best of the Alex Jones Show, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. Watch live at Infowars.com/show or become a member of InfoWarsNews.com and help us take resistance to the next level.